Hey guys, Julian here, and today I'm going to be talking to you about how I make my techno tracks. I'm going to be showing you how to make this. And yeah, so as usual, I'm going to have the full project file and samples and MIDI presets. Everything that you just heard that I'm about to create in this video is going to be available right at the top of the description. And if you're a patron on my Patreon, check there because it's already available. And yeah, also to go with this video, I've been dropping a lot of new techno tracks lately. I had a release on 1605, on Orange Recordings, and on Gain Recordings. The link to all three of those releases is going to be at the top of the description. If you guys like my videos, really appreciate you guys going and check out my music. And yeah, let's get started. So, as you can see, I've got a blank project file here in front of me. I'm going to go up to 128 BPM, pretty standard BPM for the style of techno that I usually do. And I always start with the kick here. I think this is really like one of the best ways that you can start making a track. And the reason why is because the kick and the low end in general with techno and really dance music overall is really like that's where the groove is coming from. You know, it's like it's all happening in the low end, and that's really the foundation of the track. So I like to just kind of start with that. So I'll go through these kicks here. These are just a bunch of different samples that I've made. And let's go for, let's use this one. So what I'll do is I usually just start with quarter notes. So we can just take that and I will put in straight quarter notes here. And there we go. So that's the first layer of the kick. I'll add a little bit of saturation to that. Or actually, let's use drum bus. Cool, and there we go. Right off the bat, we have the first part of the kick. It's sounding really fat. Nice. Then I go and I make the rumble. So what I'll do is just duplicate the kick, and we can take this and just make it so that it's playing 16th notes. Like that. And then I think I'll actually go in and mess with the pattern. Like, a lot of times, if you do something kind of like this. So now it's like do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Instead of just having that straight 16th note pattern, you can kind of create like a little bit more groove in the low end. Again, like it's not just about having like a bass, it's about having a bass that is both rhythmic and like it's more of like a percussive bass is essentially what I'm trying to say. But yeah, so we're gonna take this and we're gonna go for a bandpass filter on here. And there you go. Now that's how you get the rumble, because we're taking just the lows like that. And then I'm going to get a compressor on here and sidechain it to the dry kick. And there we go. So now you can hear we have some groove in the low end. We have literally just two elements, kick and bass. And I'll actually name these two. But that's enough to really like give us a lot of what's happening in the track. And then the last thing that I'll usually do to get like the kick groove going is just add one more layer here. And what this is going to be is it's going to be sort of like, I'll show you. So we're going to just make these notes here. There we go, get those. Alright, cool. And then we'll make them a little bit longer. And then I'm going to copy the kick here one more time. I'm going to copy this one that is the bass. And then this is also going to be bandpassed, but this one is going to be bandpassed a bit higher. So we're going to be getting like that. And now you can hear that sort of like There we go. There's that last little bit of something extra happening in the low end. This is one of those things that you hear in a lot of tracks but you may not always be able to figure out quite what's doing it. But a lot of times, it's just this. You just take the kick and then bandpass it at like a higher frequency. And you can hear it's adding a lot, because now it's playing off of what the rumble is doing. And we'll name that click. And then the one thing I like to do on that is just put a little delay on it. And put it on the ping pong setting so we get that like a little bit of stereo width, but cool. And then we can just take all that stuff and put it into a group together with a little bit of drum bass on it. And there we go. So that's the foundation to the track. We have like our foundation in there. From there, the next thing I usually move on to is making a lead of some sort of like the main hook of the track. So we'll take wavetable here, and I'll just make like a simple sort of sound. Probably going to use a saw wave and a square wave. So we get the saw wave, and then we'll turn the square wave on as well. Alright, so then what we're going to do is I'm going to set the amp envelope like that. We'll turn the filter off. And then I'm going to use this noise unison setting and create this sort of like big, chorusy sort of sound. And we'll actually turn the voices down a little bit. Cool, and then we just put a bit of drum bass on that. Makes it a bit bigger, a bit of echo as well. Which, again, like we're just trying to give this sound a little bit of vibe really quick. Kind of like get the idea of the actual sound in there. And then we can start writing it melodically. So let's make this a little 4-bar clip. I'm going to do like a... Maybe we'll do like one of these. And this is a pretty simple pattern too. I'm actually going to turn down that unison. Let's go for the classic setting. So it's a pretty simple sort of lead pattern. I've just used this little D sharp minor scale here where we're just going from D sharp, the root note, F sharp, the minor third, and then this F here, which is the ninth. And then I just added in some extra notes like an octave up. And I think now that we have the notes, we can kind of go in and work with the sound a little bit. Like I'm actually going to turn off the unison and just detune these a little bit. But there we go. We have like just a nice little lead. And then maybe the second time we can... Yeah, there we go. And then what I'll do after that typically is make some sort of like a response pattern. Like this time we have that. And then here we're going to make like some little sort of bass stabs. So I'm going to pull up operator here. And then we can just make this simple, like FM. There we go, just like that sort of standard pluck sound like you hear in a lot of techno tracks. Put the shaper on that. There we go. And then we can put that in here, and we'll just come up with like a little pattern for it. Yeah, that's cool. And then I'm going to duplicate that, and then make like a variation of it for the second one here. Like that. and then we'll change the sound on the second one. So this is a good technique if you're trying to write these little bass stabs like this, is to just take your first one and duplicate it to make the second one. Yeah, that's a cool one. And then we'll take that, and as a matter of fact, I'm actually going to just put these in a group together and process them. So we'll put a little high pass filter on the group. We'll put a little bit of drum bus as well to make them a bit stronger. And then I'm going to put a little bit of reverb before that. And with these, I like to just do like a little fast reverb. There we go. And then we'll put a little bit of this one in here. Just to kind of fill in that space a little bit. Like, I think a lot when I'm making these tracks about, you know, filling in space and making sure you don't just have like a moment where it's just sitting there. Sick. We'll name that stabs, and then lead. Cool. And then the last thing to do here is just to add in some hi-hats and some percussion. So I'm gonna go through my different tutorial files here. I typically, like when I'm making my tracks, honestly, just use the ones from these videos that I make you guys. So let's get like one of these. We'll use this hi-hat. So I almost always just start with the hi-hat that's on the upbeats. So this one. And you notice like this isn't like just that like bright hi-hat sample. This is meant to be something like fatter and a lot more mid-range heavy. That's what I look for. There we go. And then I'm going to take another one and put it on the 16th notes. We'll use one of these. And then I think I'm going to... So this one I'm putting kind of on, like on every other 16th note. It's not meant to just be hitting like at the exact same time. Or like all the way through. Cool, so we're getting that, and then the last layer to this is I'm actually going to use a loop. So I'm going to go in here and get one of my loops. This is from my Definitive Techno Drums Volume 2 sample pack. And what we can do is grab one of these, like, let's use this tambourine. So now we're going to have two different things happening for the 16th notes, because we have that one and this one. So then you put them together. And there we go. And then I'm actually going to go ahead and convert this one to mono really quick. Just using that. Nice. And then we can turn everything down a little bit. And then the last element that I'm going to add in here is just going to be one more percussion. I'm just going to grab a clap. And this is just going to be adding, like, you know, that last little extra sort of background percussion layer. I'll show you what I mean. Let's take that one. So there you go, you know, that's just that last, like, I'm actually going to change the sample. But it's just that last extra sort of, like, thing that you hear typically. And you can hear it's just adding some space to the percussion, and you know, something that's kind of coming in and coming out that isn't just playing the whole way through like the hi-hats. So then the last like step here would be to take these hi-hats and the percussion and put them in a group together, and then I'm going to call that percussion, and then I'll put a little bit of like drum bass on there, as well as a tiny bit of reverb. And with the reverb, we're just going to go down to 8%, maybe turn the K time down, and then on the drum bass, do that, and then we'll also cut out some lows. Cool, and there it is. So let's listen all the way from start to finish to what we made today. Cool, and there it is. So that is how you do it. That is how I go about making my tracks from scratch. How you go from a blank Ableton file to a nice little idea like this. You know, all there really is left to do is structure this out, master it, maybe add like some effects here and there, and you have yourself a track. And yeah, so that's me for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. As always, make sure to like this video as well as subscribe. And let me know what you think of this video in the comments. Like I said in the beginning, you can get this full template with the full samples, MIDI, presets, everything that we just created and used in this video. It's available right at the top of the description on my Bandcamp. This is a great way to support me if you guys are enjoying these videos. And also go check out those new releases I was telling you guys about. Like I said, I put out a bunch of techno recently. If you guys like my videos, really appreciate you guys supporting my original tracks. And yeah, thank you so much everybody, and I will see you tomorrow with another video.